Honorable Minister for IT in Government of Madhya Pradesh, Secretary IT, other distinguished members on the dais, and ladies and gentlemen. I think before we consider the role that ICT can play in education, I just want to take a quick reality check to see what is the current state of education in the country. I'm not fully familiar with the state of Madhya Pradesh, so I can speak with more my experiences in Mumbai. But I'm sure that the problems won't be very dissimilar. The biggest problem that education administrators face today is falling attendance. Whether it's an MBA college, an MCA college, or any higher technical education, one has to force students to attend by insisting on 80%. So this is one ground reality. I've talked to numerous students, student organizations, student unions, and they say that, the syllabus is outdated, I get much more on the internet. Quite often the teachers may not have read up that extra part which we know. They will teach only from a fixed syllabus or a fixed book. Knowledge is changing too fast, too rapidly in all fields, including ICT. We have volumes to cater to. And unfortunately, we are not able to attract the best talent to education anymore. I remember when I was younger and I was in school, even though the school teachers were probably paid the least, you had very dedicated teachers whom you actually worshipped. And I'm sure all of us of at least my generation will recall 2 or 3 teachers who shaped our destiny. Today, the private sector offers such tremendous salaries that at least in the ICT, it has become a real challenge for education administrators to attract the best talent to teach. Let us look at the industry requirements. They have changed so rapidly. Suddenly, India is doing a lot more global business than ever before, not just in ICT, in every field. It is becoming the manufacturing hub. So we are looking now for players who are global players, who are able to work in a multicultural environment, who are able to communicate in many languages, not just national, but international languages. Technology is becoming obsolete, and we need to learn how to learn. So our teachers can only teach us how to learn. The old story about not giving a fish a day, but actually teaching you how to fish in the internet for information. At the national level, there is a great dearth of entrepreneurs. I was in Singapore working with their SME segment, and a small city-state has 160,000 SMEs. In America, the bulk of employment comes from small and medium business, not the large businesses. More importantly, we have 240 million young people who have to be given some kind of education to increase their employability. And this is a population time bomb. We pride ourselves on a very young, vibrant India, which will take us into the 21st century and beyond. But if we fail to educate these, then we are sitting on a time bomb. Now, when you see all these challenges, you will realize that both private sector and ICT have a tremendous role to play, because government resources at any given time are limited. They have multiple demands, and it is for the private sector an increased and emphatic use of ICT, which alone can take us forward, or at least even tackle some of these challenges. Just to give you a few quick examples, and I'm sure later in the day there will be technical sessions where we will explore this further. One of the biggest advantages of computers, which always has been there, is to cater to volumes. When you're dealing with the kind of volumes that India produces, every day we add, an Australia or something to a population. So tackling education in any state without the use of ICT to leverage those volumes is going to be an impossible task. Coupled with the fact that you may not get the best teachers or the best talent to be the teachers, giving a uniform set of content across all education channels again becomes important, and this is a role that the internet or ICT plays very well. You can log on hundreds of times and you get the same quality of content. So that's the key, I think. handling volumes with the same level of quality and consistency. Able to assess, you have all these students coming, or are you able to put them through an assessment? Teaching is a challenge, but assessment is what turns students off. They feel that it's not fair, that they are not being assessed fully, and nor are we able to actually tap individual creativity to identify for their later roles in life. And I think this is again a place where you can handle volumes and handle them in a very individual manner using ICT. And last but not the least is the ability of ICT to set up communities. You already have seen in social media our ability to create small communities. Just imagine this taken laterally to education. The parents, the students, and the administrators can form a community where a parent can log in and see what are the fees to be due, or what is my son's attendance, or what is the academic performance. You can create communities of the teacher, experts from around the world, or at least around the country, and those student groups which are interested in that specific part of higher education, and act as a facilitator so that the best knowledge in the country is funneled to every small little college in the country. This is again a role that ICT can play tremendously. We also have to keep in mind the evolving role of a teacher. I think teacher and education administrators will have to harness ICT, embrace it, and complement it in classrooms rather than compete. And for this, I think both as private sector and as governments, we need to establish more forums like this where we can exchange ideas of how ICT and education directions can combine to create and solve the huge tasks that education faces in this country.